Are you involved in a business or thinking about starting one? Do you know there may be environmental impacts from business activities? According to the Environmental Protection Act of 1996, businesses such as gas stations, rice mills, large-scale agriculture and poultry farms, large-scale mining and forestry operations, hotels, and resorts must be authorized. Persons proposing any of these activities need to submit an application for environmental authorization to the EPA. Hello and welcome to The Environment Matters, a monthly production of the Environmental Protection Agency in Guyana, where we explore the work of the agency in fulfilling its mandate of environmental management and biodiversity conservation. I am your hostess, Aretha Ford. Now, viewers, as you know, the slogan of the EPA is "The environment is everybody's business." And this simply means that all categories of stakeholders, from governmental agencies all the way down to the household level and the individual citizens, have a role to play in protecting and conserving our natural resources. Now, oftentimes, there are groups of students or like minded persons from organizations and communities that come together to support the work of the government when it comes to the environment. And we call these groups environmental clubs. And so, joining me today to talk about the work of their respective environmental clubs are Miss Sufain Allen.
Hello, everyone.
And Miss Diana Bridgewater Dornelis.
Hi.
So, welcome to the Environment Matters.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So, let's go into our discussion. So, I'd like for you guys, even though I would have given your names, to introduce yourselves and the group that you're associated with. So, we'll start with you, Miss Diana.
Okay, I am Diana Bridgewater Dornelas. I am from the Georgetown Starbrook Lions Club, as well representing the District 60A Environment Associate for Guyana, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. So, Lions Roar.
Yes.
Yes. And Sufain.
As Aretha said, my name is Sufain Allen, and I am from the Caribbean Youth Environment Network in Guyana. This is a regional group, but we have the Guyana division here, and we do a lot of work with young people and capacity building within the environmental realm.
All right. So, if someone wants to be a part of your group, how do they join?
For the Lions.
Yes.
Okay. So you can hit us up on Google, and you just type in Guyana, and you type in your address, and there is they will send you to the nearest club.
Okay.
If not, you can find us with this yellow vest, this yellow jacket. We are around the place. We're at all the different events, fundraising and stuff. And you just come up to one of us and we can give you information. I don't want to give my personal information
Yes, that's
on,
quite fine.
but from my name, you can find me on Facebook.
All right.
Yes.
So, Sufain would have mentioned, that her group caters to young people. So, is there an age limit for
No,
Lions
we
clubs?
also have the Leo's Club.
Okay.
So if you're from like, say, age 10 to 30,
Yeah.
we had the Alpha and the Omega, Leo's Club. But if you're above 30, you join the Lions Club.
All right.
So yes.
That's
So
great.
Yes.
There's
you would
space.
have known
Yes.
that because you are a former Leo.
Yes, I'm a former Leo and current
Transform.
Lion.
And
so
right,
I
so
am
you're a Leo
not
Lion.
wearing that
Yes.
hat today at all. Yes, and Sufain, for the CYN, is there a specific age limit?
Yes. It's in the name, youth. Caribbean
Youth,
youth. So some 15, I think we go up to 35 now.
Okay.
All right, 15, 35, you can join. And because we cater to young people, we do the young way, social media. So
Okay.
you go to Facebook, you go to Caribbean Youth Environment Network in Guyana. Remember in Guyana, because they are from there. Almost every Caribbean nation has a Caribbean Youth Environment Network.
Okay.
So in Guyana, and you will see sign up. You click that that button on our Facebook page. It gives you to a Google form. You put in your information, and we contact you. Simple as that to join the Caribbean Youth Environment Network in Guyana.
All right, great.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll move on to the next question, and Sufyan will keep with you. So, as an individual and as a group, what concerns you most about the environment?
So for the Caribbean Youth Environment, for CYN, I'll say CYN for short. The main issue we have with the environment is along the lines of climate justice and climate action. So we are currently working towards having more of practical solutions to the current issues that we face in Guyana, especially when it comes to things along the lines of the main impacts of climate change. So we are worried about the future, and we know that youths are going to inherit this current state of the environment, and we want to ensure that it remains in such a way that we can also benefit. And secondly, we have a focus on plastic waste management are really the focal point for the international coastal cleanup, where we would collect data on the amount of single-use plastics and so on along the coast of Guyana. So one of the main things we focus on is solid waste management, especially focusing on plastic. So along other than climate change, plastics, you also want to deal with capacity building. You recognize that youths need to also be knowledgeable. You also need practical skills. So if you're going to be an activist, if you're going to be a volunteer, you must also benefit in that way. So that is one of the three main things we focus on when it comes to youth environment, and our main focus is when it comes to issues.
All right, and Diana.
Well, piggybacking on Safina, it's about the same thing with the Lions, but we have to, like she would have mentioned, educate the youths and probably have some more environmental awareness around, to just give them a little boost, because like everybody's just don't care. They just throw the bottles, and now we have to go to the seawalls and to do clean up. You have to pick up. You would be surprised the amount of things that is on the seawall.
Yeah, I was part of a group that
and they're
would have
doing
done
data.
cleanups previously.
So it's like to encourage people to keep the surrounding clean. Put your plastic waste where it's supposed to go. Use the garbage bins around. You compost, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah. So then, with these issues in mind, what drives your group to stay active in helping to protect the environment?
Well, it's the environment. It's one planet we have. We don't have a planet B. There's no planet B. So if you don't start now, so we just encourage, we try to, enhance people to use the available stuff that they have, and to just give them a little bit more of a educational something, so that they can start from like school, or how.
Yeah. So you would have mentioned in introducing yourself that you represent clubs or Lions clubs across Guyana. So what are some of the activities that Lions would have engaged in recently?
Well, there's always a cleanup at the seawalls, like every month. I must commend Bel Air Lions Club. The Leo's Club is not the Lions Club, the Leo Club. And they also, there's other clubs that they would beautify different places. They would, it's like a whole lot. If you just go visit the website and follow us, you would see exactly what they're doing, and they're trying. We're trying. We have a few things down the line, but we need the sponsorship, and it's a voluntary organization, so we have to raise funds to do these things. And you know if we don't have funds, then we have to go into our pockets, and then it wouldn't be as impactful as we want it to be. So
All right.
we're looking at the sponsorships and so on to get it done. Probably the EPA and a few
A few other
government.
Yes.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
EPA
Yeah.
definitely is in the realm of collaborating. We believe in the power of partnerships.
Yes.
So the support can come in many forms for whatever activities environmental groups have planned. So, Sufain, I'll ask the same question. What drives the members of CYN to stay active in, fighting for climate justice and reducing plastic pollution? What kind of activities have you been engaged in recently?
Okay. Yeah, so when it comes, I always believe that when a group of like minded people come together with a similar goal and similar objectives, we can always achieve anything we set our minds to. So with CYN, because we are a regional group and we have about 40 to 60 members in Guyana, with about half of them being active, we are able to come together and really set our minds to projects, or ideas, have activities, and so when we see our ideas, and we of course we respect each other's ideas and initiatives. When we see them become fruitful and we actually see the benefit to them, it really keeps us engaged. So the drive really comes from us being productive and not losing sight of the true goals that we have, especially when it comes, if we're going to say we're going to focus on water quality awareness, if we're going to focus on plastic pollution or so on, we always ensure we have a group, a subgroup within that group to focus on that, and then we come back to the main group and we say, oh, this is what we achieved, and it inspires other person. If you're inactive, to this group is actually doing some stuff, we're actually active, and they join, and from there, so it really, what keeps us engaged is our productivity. We always ensure that we invite new persons in, we listen to other persons' ideas, and so respect each other, and from there we're able to achieve the goals of the group. Recently, we have ventured into schools along Region 6 to speak about water quality, and with it was a project with Ocean Conservancy, who also sponsors ICC for us in partnership with EPA. As we give you all the information, EPA creates the reports and shows. Whenever, just to be clear, whenever the CYN does clean up, we always collect data. So we collect data. Each type of plastic we collect, if it's a spoon to a straw to even a plastic cap. And we inform the Environmental Protection Agency, and they create a report which is available on EPA's website, and you can see the true state of the plastic pollution issue on the coast. So we have our cleanup coming up on April the 16th, where we're going to be also recording data. So we invite the public to come and help us. The more hands, the quicker we can get the work done. And we also deal with education, as I said. So we venture into schools. The most recent one, as I mentioned, is in Region 6 with water quality. Then we are on the focal point for the exclusive agreement, which is for climate justice. So we also, for last school, we went into post-pandemic, because we couldn't venture into schools during the pandemic. It was St. George's, and we spoke to them about climate justice and so on. We are currently working on having a project to improve awareness about plastic pollution.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. So, I find it, very heartwarming to have representatives from these two specific groups here. Not only because I am a Lion, but I've been working with CYN for quite a number of years, since they would have resuscitated the organization in Guyana, and working alongside them with executing the international coastal cleanup. And it's not coincidental that these two organizations were chosen, because the month of April is the month that Lions Clubs International has chosen to recognize and to encourage clubs to do environmental projects.
Yes.
So here, audience, we have a wonderful networking opportunity.
Yes.
And, this is one of the benefits of having or being a part of an environmental club. You get to meet like-minded people and really partner for activities that would make an impact. Yeah.
Yes.
So, with that, we will take an ad break, and we'll see you on the other half of the program.
At the Environmental Protection Agency, we believe that the environment is everybody's business. We can start caring for our planet by becoming more environmentally friendly in our everyday actions. Here's what you can do: dispose of waste in a garbage bin, clean our drains, yards, and carpets regularly, Take a reusable shopping bag to the market. Support local butchers and farmers to reduce packaged waste. Plant a kitchen garden, trees and flowers. Compost your organic waste. Conserve water and electricity. Carry a reusable water bottle. These little acts are good for your health and that of the environment. Remember, healthy people work better and achieve more, and together, small actions make a big difference. For further information on how you can help, please contact the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Ganges Street, Sophia, or telephone us at 225-5467. You can also visit our website, epaguyana.org, or our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Miss Sonia, wait, I want to ask you something.
Oh gosh,
Morning, Miss Sonia.
morning, Miss Cheryl. I'm late for work.
I noticed the other day y'all had a big campaign with them police officers, so shutting down them people barbecue, wedding, dance. Man, how y'all expect these people to make money and survive?
Oh, Miss Cheryl, that is far from the truth. The EPA and the Guyana Police Force are actually working together to ensure that persons who conduct certain businesses and activities are authorized. We've tried to allow them to adhere to the noise regulations.
Well, this gonna be a new law. What law is this?
These laws were always in place. It's now that we're getting all these complaints at the agency, we are trying to enforce them. The Environmental Protection Act has been in place since 1996, and it states that persons and businesses must apply for environmental authorization before operating a sound-making device.
Well, girl, I never know this thing is prior to the law.
So if you're keeping a barbecue or an open-air function, like a wedding or a concert, especially in your community, right, and you're playing a music system, you have to apply for a short-term noise permit. And for persons that operate in a business and you got generators and stuff, you have to apply for a long-term permit. And that is applicable to bars and hotspots and clubs also.
Well, now that you explain it, I understand it. It's unfair to the elderly, sick people, and even them little children.
That is correct. According to the World Health Organization, loud noise can cause stress, sleep deprivation, and hearing impairment. And I'm sure you wouldn't want that.
Oh, now I understand. Thank you for explaining it, Miss Sonia.
For more information, you can contact the EPA at 225-5471 or visit our office at Ganges Street, North Sophia, Georgetown.
Welcome back to The Environment Matters, and thank you for staying tuned to the program. If you're now joining us, with me in studio today are Ms. Sufain Allen, representing the Caribbean Youth Environment Network, and Ms. Diana Bridgewater Darnellas, representing the Lions Clubs of Region 2. And we were having a very hearty discussion about environmental clubs and the work of their organizations. So at this point in time, if you know any like-minded person in your community, or if you're a student and you want to form an environmental club in your school, give the EPA a call. If you want to make environment a part of the activities of your existing clubs, you can give us a call as well, and we will have that discussion. So we continue our discussion today by highlighting some of the challenges while being a member of an environmental club or being a part of any group can be rewarding in a number of ways. It's not without its challenges. So we don't want you audience to think that it's all sunshine and rainbows all the time. There are challenges. So we want to talk about some of the challenges that you encounter in executing environmental projects. So I'll say Lion Diane.
Yes.
Yes, we'll start with you.
Well, the same thing, the challenges would be like, when you see us around and we're selling some pastries or some cakes, the money, your money go back to the public. And if you don't support us, we can support the less fortunate. And so when we send letters to the different companies or, other NGOs or whatever, we would like a little bit of support, when you don't respond or you don't, we want to do big projects.
Yeah.
We would like to do big projects. We have big projects in mind, but we have to get the fundings. And if we don't have funds, we can't execute it. We go with the smaller ones, like going to the seawalls or.
Yeah.
So
And,
it's
and it's not that those projects are not impactful,
Pack.
but
It
I
is
know
im-
that there's so
yes,
much more that can be
we can
done
do,
if,
yes.
we have money.
Money, yeah.
And I've said it on this program before. There was a lecturer of mine who said that conservation without money is just conversation. So we want to be people of action. So audience, if you know of any NGOs that have fundraisers, I would encourage you to support in any way. I can vouch that for these two organizations, and especially for the Lions Club, all of the money goes back to community projects.
Yes.
And so, we recognize that corporate support
Yes.
is really a challenging factor. And, does that obtain for CYN as
Yeah,
well?
so I was just to say, whatever, all that you said just now, funding is always a sore point. It's funding, and I shouldn't say that there isn't opportunities right now, because post-pandemic I've realized a lot of grants have been available, but the kind of requirements they have sometimes are too much for NGO to actually be
Okay.
able to reach. Sometimes they want you to be registered internationally with certain bodies to ensure that you're
Yes.
credible and so on,
Yeah.
but that requires time and something. The deadline is not with the fees within that time and so on. Sometimes it requires us to be able to reach a level, but we should be able to reach it in a period of like a year or 2 years. But sometimes the deadline is in 2 months, and you really want to do we had an idea to do a conservation type project, and as you said, conservation without money is just conversation. So we have the funding issue, and you also have the issue with keeping. If we don't have constant projects or constant activities, members tend to get disengaged.
Yep.
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 Disengaged
Yes.
members is a problem. Inactive members is a problem. I think almost every NGO has that
Yeah.
issue.
Yes, yes,
Sure
indeed.
do.
So sometimes your register has, we have 100 members.
Yes, yeah.
But when you get to
Turn up,
meetings,
yes.
5%
there's-
of them are
yeah.
active.
Correct.
So we that's why we always try to get new members and also keep them engaged.
Engaged.
Because if you don't keep persons engaged in this day and age, where we have the short attention spans and persons are already busy with work or so on. Well, we tend to have a lot of youths who are in the University of Guyana, so if it comes down to test period and so on, we don't have persons who are available. So we also sometimes have to really find that area or that time frame where we're able to keep persons engaged, and from there use that energy to really catapult projects further and to show investors or persons who want to who want to give us funds that we do have active members, because they're not going to invest if we don't look active.
Yeah, and there's one thing that I say to the Leos. It's and to anyone who I'm addressing that's part of a group, I say, you get as much as you put in. So if you just join the organization for
Just
networking
wearing the vest.
benefits, or just wearing the vest, or just saying, I'm part of a regional organization, then there's not much that you would get out of that. So
Precisely.
you too, if you're part of a group, you have to be active in your group, and you have to be passionate about the cause that you've chosen to join.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Like I would be asking everybody. Like Easter is coming up. I say, can you give me some kites, please? Thank you. For the lions, not for me. I don't want it. For the lions. You buy the kite and give it to me. If you don't feel like you want to give me the money or the finance or whatever. And we would send letters, and rare they would give us. Or sometimes the store downtown would give us a discount,
Okay.
which is good.
Discounts are
which is-
fine.
Yes.
So we appreciate it, and a little goes a long way. So if if you feel free and you want to donate, just contact one of us and find a club nearest to you. And yes,
Yes, and I know I could take off my EPA hat and speak as a member of a Lions Club. I know one of the biggest challenges is acceptance, and acceptance in the way of environment is a component of our service that has been recently added. Um, I think it's like the second to last global service cause that
Yes.
has been added, right? And for some members who've been with the organization for quite some time, this is something that is new to them. So to accept that there are environmental issues and we need to incorporate new service projects, it's a challenge. As a young member, I find it a challenge. Um, I know with a club that is solely focused on environmental issues, CYN may not have that challenge. But for other NGOs where your work is more on the humanitarian side and providing that aid to persons, incorporating something like environment would be challenging. So again, for groups like the Lions, the Rotarians, um, the JCs, if you're facing that challenge with incorporating environmental activities into your regular work plan, you can give the EPA a call and we'll help you find some fun, educational and impactful activities that you can do within your group. So
I want to add to that. I always say to persons that if you're going to any environment or any movement that is happening, this is a movement. That is why you would now have that added to Lions Clubs, because we're now entering that in the environmental awareness revolution. We are aware that this is an issue that affects everybody. As EPA said, environment is everybody's business. And so you need to ensure that you are able to relay that information in such a way that persons understand it's a personal thing. It's something that affects you. Because I find that human beings only are able to relate to something when they understand how it directly affects you. That is why you have to issue with plastic pollution. When the flooding happens and they realize, if you throw garbage in the drains, you are going to get it will affect you. So it comes down to other NGOs. If you want to reach out to CYN or you want to reach out to other places like EcoTrust Society, who focuses mainly on the environment, and you partner and they see that, okay, this is also an NGO, a volunteer group that is focused on the environment. Let's see how we could come together along with what is like the EPA that have that capacity to train us in that area. So for us to understand that everybody will be affected. Because we can't assume that people know. Even if you're in a part of an NGO, you can't assume you know. You have to ensure that it's that we make it in such a way that persons understand that this is something that you need to, if you have the capacity to, if your NGO has the capacity to look into, because it is a problem or an issue that affects us all.
Yeah, and I'm glad you touched on that, Sufain. It's environmental issues are global, and I remember recently giving a presentation to Girl Guides. Girl Guides are not known for environmental projects, but it's just to show that globally the state of the environment is a growing concern, and there are a lot more organizations that are incorporating and tackling environmental issues into their work. So audience, join us in the fight to protect our environment. So we don't want to stay in the doom and gloom. Let's talk about a few of these success stories that you would have had within your organization. Like what kind of impact would you have made based on the projects that you would have done?
So for the Lions, we do have success story. And for instance, if you go to the national park, you will notice there are bins there. This would have done by like Candace Ford, and she would have get the other clubs to come on board. And so there's bins there, and there's the Lions logo. We also have bushed across the country, different clubs. We have beautification going on. The Leos now embarking on a beautification at I think it's a nursery school.
Okay.
And so there is, if you look around, you will find us. We're in town, we're at the national park, we're on the roadside. So we're doing stuff, but it's not to the extent that we would like to Yes.
Yes.
So
So even with the small projects, I don't want us to diminish
no.
the impact that
Yes.
small projects can have on communities and on the spaces that people reside. I was sharing with one of my lions the other day that a simple but impactful environmental project that we can do is to plant flowers.
Yes.
If we take a look at our news feeds, every so often we pop up and see the disappearance of bees is
Yes.
a global concern, right? And a simple thing like planting flowers
Flowers.
can help to attract bees to a place, not the kind that kill.
No, no.
The ones that
Different
just
pollen. Yeah.
take
The
your pollen
ones
and
that
mind your
are
business.
are required
Yeah.
to keep our food supply going,
Yeah.
right? And so even small projects, the beautification projects, have their purpose. We find that we're happiest. We tend to litter less in spaces that are pretty,
Yeah.
right? There's even a scientific term for it.
Yeah, there's a
Does it's
term.
called the ugly scenario.
Okay.
Right? So people are less likely to litter
Litter.
in spaces that are green, that are beautiful, that have flowers and nice hedges and so on.
Yes.
And so we're in a way contributing to resolving the larger issues. It's like an environmental psychology kind of
Yeah.
thing. Right?
Yes.
So for CYN, before
For
I
CWAN, as I mentioned at the
Yeah.
beginning, we focus
Keep the whole
on one,
program.
climate justice and climate action.
Mhm.
So we, of course, we went into schools. That is one of the most impactful things we did. We went to school and speak about climate justice and climate action. Then we also are one of the signatories on the exclusive agreement, which was climate justice with Latin America and the Caribbean, and that is going to be even carried out to the International Court of Justice, because we want governments to actually put measures in place to ensure that they have a bill or legislation that plans for climate action in the future. Then, when it comes to plastic pollution, which is one of our focuses, and international coastal cleanup, we're the focal point for that. So every year we have reports put out every year showing our work. So we do sure that we're making an impact, and from there we have been able to gain funding. So that is how we are able to reach into schools throughout Region 6, because there's a lot of traveling.
Yes.
And we're able to speak on water quality and show them how plastic can affect water quality, why you need to protect your marine environment, how that water can affect you. And last thing, capacity building, and during the pandemic, we had a lot of opportunities to go on online conferences because they reached out to the Caribbean Environment Network. Now, post pandemic, I myself was able to speak on a podcast with UE, along in partnership with a university in Canada. I can't remember the name right now, where we spoke about climate justice. And there are many opportunities for members to go to conferences overseas. Right now, there's one dealing with water that is going to be in May. And there's one to Colombia currently that one of my colleagues is currently in, where he's learning about reaching indigenous persons and spreading the environmental awareness around those communities. So capacity building is a big thing, and we right now being recognized due to our constant work throughout the region and the opportunities in capacity building. So we have a lot of success stories coming too
That's good.
with our members.
Awesome. Congratulations on the work that both organizations and your environmental clubs that you've been doing throughout the years to support the EPA in its work, in spreading awareness and in conducting projects that really have a strong environmental impact. So if you would like to form an environmental club in your school or in your community, or if you're part of an organization, you would like to integrate environmental projects into your activities, feel free to give us a call at the EPA, or you can use any of our available communication channels. And with that, we bring the program to an end. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our guest, Ms. Diana Bridgewater Dornelos she's representing the Lions Clubs of Guyana, Miss Sufane Allen representing the Caribbean Youth Environment Network. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of our program. Thank you so much for joining us. And do remember to stay connected to the EPA by picking up a copy of the Sunday Chronicle or the Guyana Times, or you can pick up a copy of both. Remember to tune in to your favorite station, NCN Channel 11, to view this program. We're also on the Guyana Today show. Tune into your favorite radio station for our bi-weekly radio interviews. And of course, stay connected with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where you can find copies of this program and much more. Stay safe, everyone, and remember, respect each other and the environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have an environmental complaint? Then the Environmental Protection Agency wishes to advise that you can report an environmental complaint at the agency via one of the following. You can call our 24-hour hotline number at 225-5469, or you can drop us an email at complaints@epaguyana.org. Or you can message us on our Facebook page at EPA Guyana, or you can message us directly on Instagram at EPAGY. Please note, when submitting an environmental complaint, you would need to submit the following: name of complainant, that is the person who is making the complaint, the address of that person, a contact number, as well as the alleged polluter, a name for them, or a name of their business, their location, and the nature of the complaint. For further information, you can visit our agency's head office at Ganji Street, Sophia, or you can visit one of the regional offices to make your environmental complaint. You can visit our WIM office in the Quarantine, or our Linden office in the Lynn Building, Mackenzie, Linden. Please note that all information collected from the public will be treated with the strictest confidence. However, complainants should be willing to attend court and testify should the matter require legal action.